Remember, your energy is perfect the way it is, exactly the energy you have. And if you think about it, somebody who can like chameleon and shapeshift and evolve and change colors and, like literally morph based on the environment they're in, they're also really good at surviving. They're really good at protecting themselves. They're really good at connecting with a wide variety of people. They're really good at building rapport with a wide variety of people. And these are skills that, like, on the flip side, if you're just solid, if you're just a brick wall, you're just sitting there, like, you don't necessarily have that skill set. So, like, one is not better than the other, one is not worse than the other. It's about your energy. And again, the chart is not telling you who you are, it's giving you language for like what feels good inside your system. And some of these concepts like open centers and amplifying energy that can really help you understand, like, I've never liked crowds. I don't like concerts. I mean, things that a lot of people really like, and like I don't like it, and I've tried to like it because everybody likes it. And now I know, like, yeah, I can't handle that many energy bodies in one place. I'm like amplifying all of it, and it just like it feels like electricity running through my system, and that doesn't feel nice to me. So having language for that can be really helpful. So I think that's pretty good on what I want to say. And I want to now invite any and all questions that you have. And then what are your thoughts on who we seek out as partners in trying to complete our circuits so we can voice our truths in life? It is interesting. So this is something called electromagnetics, if you hadn't heard that term. But that's the idea that basically our hanging gates act like magnets. So the more hanging gates you have, the more magnetic you are, versus like if you have all complete channels and you have defined centers and you're self-contained, like you've got what you need inside your own energy. Otherwise, those hanging gates are magnetizing other energies into your field so that between the two of you, you have the complete channel. So the energy has somewhere to flow. It has a complete road where it can flow. And the good news is this happens without us meaning for it to. Like, as I look at the people who I would call friends, where like I spend a lot of time around these people, when I start looking at their human design chart, it's hilarious how many commonalities there are. As far as like they almost always have this defined gate that gives us this channel right here. And they have this one, and they typically have their own, like one of these. And it's just, it's like you can't plan it to be as good as it is. So trusting the people that come to you and the people that you feel attracted to and the people that feel attracted to you. And on the flip side, the people that you feel repulsed by and the people that feel repulsed by you, because repulsion and attraction are two sides of the same coin, and it's all electromagnetics. And typically, the attraction side, it's like there's something in them that we want to bring out more in ourselves. And repulsion, I think there's something in them that we're already trying to kill that part of ourselves. And them being in our field is causing us to see that part of ourselves more clearly that we are rejecting and trying to get rid of. So the things that we like about other people, that's us. The things that we don't like about other people, that's also us. So the people that come up close to us, I think, are a mirror, and they help us to get to know ourselves more clearly. And the more we love ourselves, the more attractive everyone around us becomes, and the less repulsive anyone ever is to us because there's nothing repulsive to us about us. So these are my own opinions about electromagnetics. And I think as far as like so that we can voice our truths, um, the the thing about electromagnetics is that there are two ways that you can have these channels complete themselves. So, number one is you attract a person with the other half of the channel. And then, in being in their presence, like there's that completed channel where you can move that energy back and forth. The other way are the transits that we just got done looking at, where like the sun is looping around every single gate once a year. The moon loops around every single gate once every 28 days. Like every single gate is getting activated every single month. So technically, you're having every channel of yours that has a hanging gate. Every single one of those is being completed by the moon every single month. So, as far as bringing your truth into conscious awareness and being able to vocalize it and express it, it may be sensitive to the timing, but the transits themselves and kind of the energy soup that we're sitting in is facilitating that process, whether you have a human counterpart to help you do that or not. So definitely other people make it interesting. I mean, relationships are one of the most fun parts of being alive, but also we truly are kind of able to run our energy ourselves just based on the transits. And you may notice, like, as you start paying attention to the timing, like throughout the year, the personal planets, so like the sun, Mercury, Venus, mostly those, no, those three. Mars travels with them sometimes, but other times it's not with them at all. So, like, we'll say those three, sun, Mercury, Venus, they travel together, pretty close together, and they're in the same part of your chart at the same time every year. And I have noticed, for example, December, January, and February, which would be like those personal planets at the end of Sag, Capricorn, and into Aquarius, which is my ninth and 10th house. And I haven't looked in human design to see like what does that complete for me channel wise or hanging gate wise. But that time of the year, all of a sudden, I just turn into a writer. Like I need to write things. It just pours and pours and pours and pours and pours. And the rest of the year, I can't bring myself to write anything. And I think that has like a lot to do with electromagnetics. It's like the timing of the year will pull things out of you at the right time. I think this helps us to kind of open up and embrace divine timing to a degree, as far as like, if it's not flowing, how do you know it's time for it to flow? Kind of question, versus when it is flowing, ride that wave until you're up on the beach, like till it runs out, right? Like get as much, milk it as much as you possibly can. Um, so yeah, I think there's definitely a lot to be said for electromagnetics and completing all of those hanging gates at some point or another, and what energy that's allowing to flow. And depending on the center and the channel that we're talking about, the expression of that energy is going to be different. Why don't asteroids like Chiron show up in human design body graph? The very simple answer for that, and I'm like 98% sure that this is true, is because that when Ra Uru Hu, who created human design, when he channeled the system, that wasn't one of the components that he wrote into it. And if you've not ever watched the video of him telling the story of him channeling and downloading the human design system, I meant to put that on the human design resources. I'll add it to the YouTube section. Is about 35 minutes, and it is him personally telling this story himself. It is one of the most awesome and weird supernatural stories I have ever heard, as far as like being consciously awake and having an experience with spirit. And it took about 8 days, and he was given human design. And so he wrote it down, and the voice told him. And the voice, the encounter with the voice is how he describes it. And so the voice didn't put Chiron in there. That's what I'm going to tell you. So I would highly recommend, though, if you're into anything supernatural, spiritual, esoteric, like this story, just full body chills over and over and over again. Super cool.